Hi friends, it's Peggy Noe from prettypapercards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to bring you a little tutorial today on how to make this sweet flower vine that's coming up both sides of my card. The way that I created this was by using the Incredible Like You photopolymer stamp set. This set has 15 gorgeous stamps, and today we're just going to use some of the little tiny ones to make this vine. Now, I started out with a piece of designer series paper from the Floral Romance Specialty Designer Series paper set. And the back side looks like this and has some really pretty vining leaves. But I'm using the side that is a very light whitewashed piece of wood. And the reason I like it is because it has these plank lines that go up both sides. And I've cut my little piece of designer series paper at 4 inches wide by 5¼ inches tall. And I've worked it out so that the plank lines are in and border the piece. You kind of have to figure it out when you're cutting your paper, but it's not hard. And this is going to form the basis of our vines. So to start out with, I'm going to use this particular stamp. It's just like a stem stamp. And I'm using Granny Apple Green for my ink. I'm going to put my glasses on here so I can see what I'm doing. And I just ink up that stamp. Now, one of my things that I always teach my class is you always turn your stamp upside down and look to make sure no ink is on the stamp and no ink is on the edges, and that way you won't make a mistake. So to start out with, I'm just going to try to get that main stem right along my plank line there. Okay, and just stamp it like that. Then I'm going to go on continuing to check and make sure I have my ink my stamp properly inked. And I'm going to go a little to the right and maybe a little to the left, like a climbing vine would do. Okay, so I'm just going to keep doing that all the way up both sides. And we're going to hope it comes out right. Okay. And I'm just setting the base right inside the little parts of the stem there, or a little to the left. Like here, I'm going to put it just a little to the left, continuing to have it climb that line where the planks come together. Okay, so that took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times of stamping, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the left side of the designer series paper. And when we get that done, we're going to just adorn it a little bit by putting on the flowers and a few more fun leaves. Need a little bit more ink on there. I love the photopolymer stamps because you can see so well. That's what allows me to do this, is because I can see through. I wouldn't be able to do this with a cling stamp. Let's see if I have enough ink on there. I've got the sun shining in this morning through my pretty window. Okay, great. Now I'm going to go back with this little stamp. This is kind of a little fat leaf, and I'm going to create at the bottom where the plant, where you would think the plant would be. Now this is it looks like one of our distinctive stamps where it doesn't lay down the ink evenly, but rather dark and then light, so it looks very realistic. So I'm going to put one of those down there. See how that is dark and then light? Isn't that pretty? Okay, and then I'll do it on the other side too, to make sure. I want it to look like the base of the plant, as if maybe it were coming out of a pot or out of the ground and there were more leaves down there. I think I'm going to put a second leaf down there. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead with my Highland Heather ink and this teeny tiny little flower. It's kind of like a fat tulip maybe. Can you see this one right here? And that's what I use to put at the edges coming off of each stem. And so I'm going to turn it different ways to make it look like it's really coming off like that, okay? And just all over, just put these cute little flowers, and they also look to me like distinctive stamps. It looks like a distinctive stamp because it has some darker areas and some lighter areas, so don't expect it to be the same saturation of ink on every flower. It has the dark and the light, so it has a much more realistic look. And you see how easy that is? You're just gonna put those little sweet little light purple flowers, Highland heather flowers, all along that stem, and as if they're just climbing right up that vine, and it is climbing right up the planks of the wood. I think it's so realistic and so sweet looking. Okay, one side is done, and you can go back and add other flowers wherever you want to. This time I'm going to start at the top and go back down. I think the reason I like to do this is because I would like to have this climbing vine in my house. So here we go, going on down, putting the little flowers on each side. Now I think here I'm going to put a few flowers in because I didn't get that vine quite as close as I might have liked to. So, and like for example right there, I got it a little, I didn't get enough ink on there, but truthfully it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that much because nobody's going to notice once you get everything all done. And in fact, I think I might just put an extra little flower right there. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with my Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to use this stamp. Now I think it actually is meant to go on this stem, but I'm going to use it within the stem to just add more foliage on my vine here. So I'm just going to kind of, I just kind of worked it. There's no science to it. I just kind of worked it around there so that it just adds some greenery. Okay, do you see that? It's just adding a little bit of greenery in there. Doesn't it make the vine look sweet? I think this is an altogether sweet vine. And really, there's no rhyme or reason. If you just stamp in there, it's going to come out great. Now, right there, I noticed that one came out a bit light. Let me see what I can do about that. Maybe I can add just a little bit more. See? Really easy. Just lightly stamp it in there. Make sure you have ink on all sides. Here I might turn this one around because I have the two groups of leaves and then one, and it looks like I have more room there to do that. Okay. And look at that, I got the leaf to go right on that part of the flower that I didn't stamp well. Okay, so I'll put another one, another little grouping right in here, and I think we're going to be done. Look at that. Isn't that super cute? And there you have your climbing vines. Now I'll just quickly show you what I did with it. And remember, I told you it is 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 tall. And what I did is I placed this panel on a Highland Heather cardstock panel like this. And the cardstock panel is also 4 inches wide, but it's 5 1/2 inches tall. And then I add that to my card. I think I got a little ink on my finger, but it's not going to show. And that's how I created my card. And I'll show you the finished one. Here's the finished card. And then I added some of the, I think it's organdy ribbon that's free with Celebration. And I stamped one of the sentiments from this stamp set, So Glad We Are Friends, on a piece of vellum. And that vellum I cut out with a circle stitch shaped framelit. And I embossed it. I first inked it in the Highland Heather ink and then put clear embossing powder on and then heated it. And these little vines are from one of the butterfly die set, I think. And I used Granny Apple green paper and then a little sweet Highland Heather heart, which was from the Be Mine heart framelits. All of the information is going to be on below the video. And I thank you so much for watching. If you like what I do, I'd love to have you choose me as your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and order some of these products from me. The link to my store is nearby, whether you're watching on YouTube or on my blog. And also, I would love to have you be part of my Sweet Stampers team of demonstrators, and this is an absolutely great time to join. You'll see all the details of that also on the YouTube video below or on my blog. So thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.